she's got arthritis in the rear. And knees, I think. And the extra weight is really taxing. So outside of music, there's enough traction to more easily get up.
Friday night.
That's
right. That's right.
We had to put a coat at the bottom. We had it at the top. And then our start to steps. She can go down because it's way out front. She slipped.
Yeah.
I don't know why she
Send
keeps
me a
trying to
list of what he sent you, because he's also sent me a list.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was gonna show you. Now, I think I just took pictures of it.
Okay, because I can imagine
Oh,
a lot of them are.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure we didn't do the
Used to
same
go
ones.
to bathroom, like down to the lower part of the yard. Because I think
Those
she
should be good for flowers.
That's
I
what I
think
was
it's
thinking.
thinking.
Maybe I put it on the.
It's something I do
And
something
now
else.
she just pies, right back.
Yeah,
Too big to put down.
That's pretty unusual for her, because usually she would go.
I think I've got it on.
And make them like make those too.
That's good that you made this on his own.
Oh, I encouraged them. I was like, okay, here's the deal.
So I'm glad we got to take a paper.
Those things.
So a lot of people got to stay on it. At this point, she can't go home.
Here's what it must be.
Okay.
It just needs to
Can you just screenshot that?
Yeah.
Mine was really rough.
Yes. That's going through summer.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that funny? I'm glad you didn't practice that. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't want to give it until I put them to you. So I don't think sure that. Yeah, I just sent them to you, then all the, looks like, yeah, little pieces. So you really like
It's
these
just-
things.
This is all.
Okay, so they should be live. It should be that.
I'm kind of.
Is it working? I can resend it on my phone if you need me to send it to someone.
No. I was just wondering.
It's always more fun to get somebody who.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm kind of.
Oh, what is it, tree?
Well,
I was having it on and I was like, oh, this is not here now. It was kind of surprised.
That's good.
Yeah.
Way too long.
I know.
It's,
Oh, sure. Because I'm sure there's the same shortage.
well, the
Scare
change.
shortage.
Like every group has things to do. That's medicine actually works. Isabel's going to have that.
Oh, yeah.
They take care of.
Supposed to be in here, not in the- This is here.
Listen,
No, the only thing that's on there is the
Thank you all for your patience. We're having our second judge.
Well, you go 10, I go 7. Oh, yeah, that's there. Don't tell me so myself. Yeah, I feel like I am going to this is the end.
Did I get mixed up? Okay. I know we are a few minutes behind, so I want to go ahead and get started. Thank you guys for your patience. We have a full room. I'm so excited that you guys are all here, that we are able to have some more of our normal, traditional way of doing the poetry recital, since last year was a little bit different. In fact, if I remember correctly, I was on quarantine last poetry recital season, and so I didn't get to participate in the classroom recitals either. So I'm really happy that we're back to doing this and that the students can perform live for you all. Of course, we have parents who couldn't make it in. Mrs. Adams has provided a link for them, and so thank you to her for setting all of that up. A lot of different working parts and pieces. So your students have spent a lot of time in preparation, memorizing poems. The beginning of the school year at New Covenant is one in which kindergarten through 12th grade all focus on poetry. We want them to have a love of language, a love of literature, and of course a love of poetry in that area. And so we write poetry, we read poetry, we recite, we memorize, and they're able then to take a poem of their own that no one else has memorized and work to perform it for you all. And they also have the opportunity to practice standing up in front of an audience and reciting. This is no small feat. As we all know, this can be very nerve-wracking, even for us as adults. And so seeing the students progress from young, little ones, kindergarten, first grade, up to this point is, I think, really cool to see how they're able to present. It doesn't mean that it's maybe less nerve-wracking, but they are able to practice that. And I'm excited to see what they have for you today. So I wanted to introduce our judges for you. I have Mrs. Natalie Elena and Mrs. Miriam Patterson, who work in our middle school. Of course, Mrs. Patterson is our principal, and both have a long history in the literature kind of department, English department in the middle school, preparing students for the poetry recitals and judging. So they're going to be looking at three different things. They're going to be looking at physical presentation, which is just the confidence that each of the students present as they're standing here before you. Diction, which is their enunciation of words, their pacing, their volume, and then their creative interpretation, which is how they interpret the meaning of their poem and present it to you and kind of dramatize it for you or use hand gestures and things like that. I'm going to be just looking at accuracy and helping the students if they need any help. But I wanted to start by praying for the students, and then we will begin. Let's pray. Lord, we thank you for your mercy, for your goodness, that we are all able to be here together, that we are able to come together in community and just enjoy the poetry that these students have worked to present today. I pray for these students that you would just bless them and help them to just let go of nervousness and any jitters, and that they would feel confident. I pray all these things in your name. Amen. Gabriel Leitner.
The Ops Lullaby by J.R.R. Tolkien. Sing now, ye joyful, now sing all together. The winds in the treetops, the winds in the heaven. The stars are in blossom, the moon is in flower, and bright are the windows of night in her tower. Now dance all ye joyful, now dance all together. Soft be the grass, that be foot beat like feather. The river is silver, the shadows are fruity. Merry be Maytime, the merry are we. Now sing now ye softly, and sing, and dreams let us weave him. Wind him in slumber, and dare let us leave him. The wanderer sleepeth, now soft be his pillow. Lullaby, lullaby, alder and willow. Sigh no more pine till the wind of the morn. Fall moon, dark be the land. Hush, hush, O gash and thorn. Dawn, hush be all water till dawn is at hand.
Christian Henson.
Hiding by Dorothy Keeley Aldous. I'm hiding, and no one knows where. For all they can see is my toes in my hair. And I just heard my father say to my mother, "But darling, he must be somewhere or other. Have you looked in the inkwell?" And my mother said, "Where?" "In the inkwell," said father, but I was not there. "Then wait," cried my mother. "I think that I see him under the carpet, but it was not me." "Inside the mirror is a pretty good place," said father, and looked but saw only his face. "We've hunted," sighed mother, "as hard as we could, and I'm just so afraid that we've lost him for good." Then I laughed out loud and wiggled my toes, and father said, "Look, dear, I wonder if those toes could be Benny's. There are 10 of them, see?" And they were so surprised to find it was me.
Ava Becker.
Where is David, the next king of Israel? By Michelle Hinson. Where is David, O God's people? Saul has passed the good and great. Mourn for Saul, the first anointed, head and shoulders o'er the state. He was found among the prophets, judge and monarch merged in one. But the wars of Saul are ended, and the works of Saul are done. Where is David, ruddy shepherd, God's boy king for Israel? Mystic, ardent, dowered with beauty, singing where still waters dwell. Prophet, find that destined minstrel, wandering on the range today, driving sheep and crooning softly, psalms that cannot pass away. David waits, the prophet answers, in a black notorious den, in a cave upon the border, with 400 outlaw men. He is fair and loved of women, mighty-hearted, born to sing, thieving, weeping, erring, praying, radiant, royal, rebel king.
Xander Turner.
The Swifts by Ruth Pitter. Flying low over the warm roof of an old barn, down into a flask in the water, up and away with a cry. With a wild swoop and a swift turn, and a fever of life under a thundery sky. So they go by. And high and high and high in the diamond light, they soar and they shriek in the sunlight when heaven is bare. With a pride of life and a strong flight, and a rapture of love to lift them, to hurl them there, high and high in the diamond air. And away with the summer, away with the spirit of glee, flashing and calling, strong on the wing and wild in their play. With a high cry to the high sea, and a heart for the south and a heart for the diamond day. So they go over, so they go away.
Emma Christian.
Comfort, slightly modified by Robert Service. Say, you struck a heap of troubled business problems, sickly wife. No one cares a cent about you. You don't care a cent for life. Hard luck has its hope bereft you. Health is failing, wish you'd die. But you've still the sunshine left you, and the big blue sky. Sky so blue it makes you wonder if it's heaven shining through. Earth so smiling way out yonder, sun so bright it dazzles you. Birds are singing, flowers are clinging, all their fragrance on the breeze. Dancing shadows, green still meadows. Don't you mope, you've still got these. These and none can take them from you. These and none can weigh their worth. What, you're tired and broken beaten? Why, you're rich, you've got the earth. Yes, if you're a tramp in tatters, while the blue sky bends above, you've got nearly all that matters. You've got God, and God is love.
Josiah Thornhill.
Rivendell Greeting by J.R.R. Tolkien. Oh, what are you doing, and where are you going? Your ponies need shoeing, the river is flowing. Oh, tra-la-la-la-lolly, here, down in the valley. Oh, what are you seeking, and where are you making? The faggots are reeking, the bannocks are baking. Oh, trill-la-la-la-lolly, the valley is jolly. Ha-ha. Oh, where are you going with beards all a-wagging? No knowing what brings Mr. Baggins and Balin and Dwalin down to the valley in June. Ha-ha. Oh, will you be staying or will you be flying? Your ponies are straying, the daylight is dying. To fly would be folly, to stay would be jolly, and listen and hark to the end of the dark to our tune. Ha-ha.
Layla Kenny.
Song by Alfred Noyes. I came to the door of the house of love, and knocked as the starry night went by. And my true love cried, who knocks? And I said, it is I. And love looked down from the lattice above, where the roses were dry as the lips of the dead. There is not room in the house of love for you both, he said. I plucked a leaf from the porch and crept away through a desert of scoffs and scorns to a lonely place where I prayed and wept and wove me a crown of thorns. I came once more to the house of love and knocked, softly and wistfully. And my true love cried, who knocks? And I said, none now but thee. And the great doors opened wide apart, and a voice rang out from the glory of light. Make room for a faithful heart in the house of love tonight.
Elena Hilton.
The Dancing Fairies by Walter Dillon. I heard along the early hills, ere yet the lark was risen up, ere yet the dawn with firelight fills the night dew of the bramble. I heard the fairies in a ring sing as they tripped a lilting round. Soft as the moon on wavering wind, the starlight shook as if with sound, as if with echoing, and the stars praised their bright eyes with trembling gleams. How red with o'er the gusty Mars rained upon earth his ruddy beams. He shone alone down the west, while I behind the hawthorn bush watched on fairies flex and trust the fires of the morning flush. Till as a mist their beauty died, their singing shrill and faint grew, and daylight tremulous and wide flooded the moorland through and through. Till Erden's copper weathercock was weird and golden from the far, and dim from moonlit dreams awoke the towers and groves o'er.
Wyatt Cole.
The Great Tyrannosaurus by Arthur Guterman. The great Tyrannosaurus lived centuries ago. Through marshes wet and porous, he rambled to and fro. The most tremendous lizard that ever browsed on me. His length from A to Izzard was 47 feet. The great Tyrannosaurus in habitude was not. When one called chorus, he ate an awful lot. Lamellibranchs in sixes and iguanodonts to spare, and Archaeopteryxes comprised his bill of fare. The great Tyrannosaurus of all the world was king. With trumpeting sonorous, he swallowed everything. Once everything was swallowed beneath the azure sky, what naturally followed? The creature had to die. The great Tyrannosaurus that was so built and free had passed away before, so learn from him and me. The earth can never nourish an appetite like his, so if you wish to flourish, don't gobble all there is.
Faith Richardson.
A Prayer by Edwin Markham. Teach me, Father, how to go softly as the grasses grow. Hush my soul to meet the shock of the wild world as a rock. But my spirit propped with power, make as simple as a flower. Let the dry heart fill its cup like a poppy looking up. Let life lightly wear its crown like a poppy looking down. When its heart is filled with dew and its life begins anew. Teach me, Father, how to be kind and patient as a tree. Joyfully the crickets coo under the shady oak at noon. Beetle on his mission bent tarries in the cooling tent. Let me also cheer a spot, hidden field or garden grot, place where passing souls can rest on their way to be their best.
Naomi Rigg.
Light the lamps up, lamplighter, by Eleanor Fargion. Light the lamps up, lamplighter, the people are in the street. Without a light, they have no sight, and where will they plant their feet? Some will tread in the gutter, and some in the mud. Oh dear! Light the lamps up, lamplighter, because the night is here. Light the candles, grandmother, the children are going to bed. Without a wick, they'll stumble and stick, and where will they lay their head? Some will lie on the staircase, and some in the hearth. Oh dear! Light the candles, grandmother, because the night is here. Light the stars up, Gabriel, the cherubs are out to fly. If heaven is blind, how will they find their way across the sky? Some will splash in the Milky Way, or bump on the moon. Oh dear! Light the stars up, Gabriel, because the night is here.
Joseph Lee.
Be a Friend by Edgar Guest. Be a friend, you don't need money, it's just a disposition sunny. Just a wish to help another, get on some way or other. Just a kindly hand extended out to one who's unbefriended, just a will to give or lend. This will make you someone's friend. Be a friend. You don't need glory, friendship is a simple story. Pass by trifling errors blindly, gaze on honest effort kindly. Cheer thee who's bravely trying, pity him who's sadly sighing. Just a little labor spent on the duties of a friend. Be a friend. The pay is bigger, though not written by a figure, than is earned by people clever in what's merely self-endeavor. You'll have friends instead of neighbors for the profits of your labors. You'll be richer in the end than a prince if you're a friend.
Lizzie Miller.
The Fairies by Rose Fileman. Come, follow me, you fairy elves that be, which circle on the green. Come, follow Mab, your queen. Hand in hand, let's dance around, for this place is fairy ground. When the mortals are at rest and snoring in their nest, unheard and unspied, through keyholes we do glide. Over tables, stools, and shelves, we trip it with our fairy elves. Upon a mushroom's head, our tablecloth we spread, a grain of rye or wheat is mentioned which we eat. And pearly drops of dew we drink in acorn cups filled to the brink. The grasshoppers gnat and fly, serve for a minstrelsy. Gray said, we'll dance a while, and so our time beguile. If the moon doth hide her head, glowworm lights us home to bed. On tops of dewy grass, so nimbly do we pass. The young and tender stalk near bends when we do walk, yet in the morning may be seen where we the night before have been.
Reese Maley.
My Books and I by Edgar Albert Guest. My books and I are good old pals. My laughing books are gay, just suited for my merry moods when I want to play. Bill Nye comes down to joke with me, and oh, the joy he spreads. Just like two fools, we sit and laugh and shake our merry heads. When I am in a thoughtful mood, with Stevenson I sit, who seems to know I've had enough of Bill Nye and his wit. And so more thoughtful than I am, he talks of lofty things. Thus an evening hour we spend, sedate and grave as kings. And should my soul be torn with grief, upon my shelf I find a little volume, torn and thumbed, with comfort just designed. I take my little Bible down, and read its pages o'er, and when I part from it I find I'm stronger than before.
Britton Baston.
Waiting at the Window by A.A. Milne. These are my two drops of rain, waiting on the window pane. I'm waiting here to see which the winning one will be. Both of them have different names. One is John and one is James. All the best and all the worst
comes from which of them is first. James has just begun to ooze. He's the one I want to lose. John is waiting to begin. He's the one I want to win. James is going slowly on. Something sort of sticks to John. John is moving off at last. James is going pretty fast. John is rushing down the pane. James is going slow again. James has met a sort of smear. John is getting very near. Is he going fast enough? James has found a piece of fluff. John has quickly hurried by. James was talking to a fly. John is there, and John has won. Look, I told you, here's the sun.
Y'all good?
Kate Cortez.
Every time I climb a tree by David McCord. Every time I climb a tree, I scrape my leg or skin a knee. And every time I climb a tree, I find some ants or dodge a bee and get the ants all over me. And every time I climb a tree, where have you been, they say to me. But don't they know that I am free every time I climb a tree? I like it best to spot a nest that has an egg or maybe 3. And then I skin the other leg. But every time I climb a tree, I see a lot of things to see. Swallows, rooftops, and TV. And all the fields and farms there be every time I climb a tree. Though climbing may be good for ants, it isn't awfully good for pants, but still it's pretty good for me every time I climb a tree.
Joseph Deo.
King Arthur's Men Have Come Again by Vashel Lindsay. King Arthur's men have come again. They challenge everywhere. The foes of Christ's eternal church, her incense crowns the air. The heathen knighthood cower and curse to hear the bugles ring. But spears are set, the charge is on, wise Arthur shall be king. And Cromwell's men have come again. I meet them in the street. Stern, but in this no way of thorns shall snare the children's feet. The reveling foemen reek but waste, a sodden poisonous band. Fierce Cromwell builds the flower-bright towns in a more sunlit land. And Lincoln's men have come again, up from the south he flayed. The grandsons of our foes arise, in his own cause arrayed. They rise for freedom and clean laws, high laws that shall endure. Our God establishes his arm and makes the battle sure.
Okay, this concludes our poetry recital, our program. And I just want to give one last round of applause to our students. They did a great job. So we have some time before they have to switch to the next class. So let's go ahead and get a group picture. I'll kind of arrange you guys, and then you can meet with your parents and take individual pictures and all that good stuff. So let's come up here right in front of the microphones. I'm gonna have my tall ones in the back. Yep, really, you can go back here, Wyatt. Okay, yep. Yep, Sandra, you come back. Okay, guys. All forward. Step forward. Microphone right there. Step forward. Step forward for me. There we go. We don't want to run into the microphone. Okay, Christian. There you go, Layla. Okay. Yes, I'm gonna have you stand in between here. Actually, let's switch you. Switch you. There we go. And, yep, let's go in. Yep, kind of like stagger your things. Okay? Yep, come in the middle here.
They're gonna move all the chairs.
And actually, let's have you guys stand.
Still too short.
Okay, you can take your masks off for the picture. Squeeze together. Pretend you like each other. Yes, you do. Squeeze closer.
Alright, wait, 1 second. Back here in the back.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Grace.
Oh my.
Okay, go see your parents. Go greet them. Careful of the camera. I don't think it's.
It's gonna go high. I should at least get partial credit. I mean, yeah, I did that. I may not have done it well.
Guys, let's stand away from the computer. Boys, let's stand over here.
It's not
Boys, away from the computer, please. Thank you. No, they're meeting them here tomorrow. Yeah, they're probably gonna have to like rearrange the chairs. Yeah. Thanks for asking. I know you're fine.